Rec League podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Podchaser, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 76 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram or YouTube itself. What up, world? 2021 has come to a close. I had to dress for the occasion. You know what that means, man. It's annual tradition. My 10 favorite movies of the year, 3 honorable mentions. Due to COVID in 2020, pushing everything to 2021 and beyond, a lot of like iconic directors dropped this year, man. Steven Spielberg just dropped. Edgar Wright dropped technically twice. Zack Snyder dropped twice. Wes Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson, both came out with movies this year. Jason Reitman took over his dad's iconic franchise. Michael Myers came back to terrorize. Some good stuff came out, man. So let's just jump right into it. Honorable mention number 3 is Black Widow. A lot of people, especially a friend on episode 75 of the podcast, says that Black Widow should have had a movie. Nobody's wrong. She got a movie in 2021, should have been in 2020. And I had a great time. I saw Black Widow twice in the theater. Scarlett Johansson is forever a badass as Natasha Romanoff. It was her goodbye to the fans. It was an introduction of Florence Pugh as Yelena. And if she is going to be the Black Widow that we know she's going to be going forward in the MCU, I'm pleasantly pleased, man, because she's a super badass. She whoops ass left and right, and she's funny. I'm not gonna embarrass myself with a Russian accent right quick. But you know if you oppose her. Honorable mention number 2 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. The crowning achievement is how hard the fans went for Zack Snyder's social media campaigns to get this movie out. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 1 star for each hour. I haven't seen it since it came out in March on HBO Max, but it's the director's true vision. It's way more explained. It's way more into detail the way Zack Snyder intended. I've told everybody I've talked to about this movie, I will never watch Justice League again, especially now that I got this on physical media. I'm gonna watch it again before the Batman comes out. I love Affleck as Batman. Henry Cavill, I've told anybody that's asked, Henry Cavill is my Superman. He deserves for Warner Brothers to pull their head out of their ass and realize what they got. He's great as Superman. The more Warner Brothers, like I was telling my boy Hector on episode 75 of the podcast, and like he knows, he rides for this movie harder than I do. The more Warner Brothers tries to erase everything Zack Snyder put into this universe, the more they keep using it. He cast all these heroes. He cast all these actors as these heroes. And his vision for what this trilogy was supposed to be is something mind-blowing that I wish we could see. But again, Warner Brothers stays fucking up. Honorable mention number 1 is Judas and the Black Messiah. A heartbreaking, true-to-life story. Shit really happened. Daniel Kaluuya killed it. Deserved every amount of praise and accolade he got. Lakeith Stanfield, same thing. Like they both killed this. Like, stories like this are sad that it's so much injustice that it has to come to what it comes to. But like, it's also amazing to see people stand up for themselves in such a way, you know what I'm saying? Such an authoritative way. Like, no, y'all are wrong, and we're going to stand up for ourselves, you know what I mean? I was excited for this movie when I was talking about it last year, and I wanted to see it in the theater. I ended up watching it on HBO Max. Of course, I bought it. Yeah, man, dope movie. At number 10, I got Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk, I guess you could say, old man action movie. This was the first surprise of 2021 to me. because it's Bob Odenkirk, man. He's a comedian. He's funny. He's in Breaking Bad. He's Better Call Saul. He's a scumbag lawyer on AMC. So to see him and in this role that maybe was meant for Liam Neeson and he turned it down, and to see him whooping ass, like the fight scenes are incredible. The action is great from the director of Hardcore Henry, which I didn't like at all. Yeah, man, like if Bob Odenkirk ends up like taking all like the old man action movies, I would not hate it. Because this was funny. Like I said, the action was good, and I had fun. This was the first time I had fun in the theater this year. At number 9, I got King Richard, the movie that I hope Will Smith finally wins his Best Actor Oscar for. Again, episode 75 of the podcast, we was talking 5 favorite movies. So if you've seen that, you know my top 5. If you heard that, you know my top 5. But my wife was talking about this. And the way that the real true life man, Richard Williams, spoke his daughter's future into existence, didn't let anybody derail that path. And if you haven't been living under a rock the past 20, 25 years, you know it came true. Yeah, I mean, like Will Smith kills it. The girls that play Venus and Serena kill it. Anjanae Ellis, John Bernthal, Tony Goldwyn. I enjoyed these performances. I enjoyed the movie. I'm not a tennis fan, and I was into the tennis matches. This was a great movie. Straight award season that I'm into. You know what I'm saying? At number 8, I got Sing 2. Probably the most recent movie on this list. I adore the first Sing. I think it's one of Illumination Entertainment's best releases. And I think Sing 2 is a sequel that surpasses how good the original was, man. Like, it goes bigger. Matthew McConaughey voices a koala, organizing all these singers to perform, getting out of the small town, going to the big city, trying to make it bigger. And he's got to deal with Bobby Cannavale voicing a power-hungry dictator of a wolf. And so many characters had adversity to overcome, had something to prove. And I was into every subplot. It was beautiful. The songs were fucking jams. Yeah, man. Sing 2. At number 7, I got No Time to Die. 2020's most anticipated movie. 2021's second most anticipated movie. And it lived up to every amount of hype I was expecting. It's Bond, man. It's spy shit. It's like Daniel Craig having this 5-movie linear arc is cold. And I love the way that it caps off. We know this was Daniel Craig's last movie, and everything about it was good. The villain was good. I'm sorry, like I liked Rami Malek in this part. Lashana Lynch, like stepping in as a new agent that Bond has to deal with, and like their back and forth is good. Léa Seydoux has a very important part coming back from Spectre. Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond, man, and like I said, this lived up to everything I wanted. At number 6. I got the Suicide Squad. Lower than I thought this was going to be on my end of the year list, man. But James Gunn, like, if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy and you enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, you already knew that the Suicide Squad was going to be great. He picked all these obscure characters because that's what the Suicide Squad was. If you didn't like this movie because you didn't know who the characters were, then you're lame. He stuck to the source material. Warner Brothers made him bring back Margot Robbie, I'm sure. Or he may have wanted Margot Robbie. Idris Elba was dope. John Cena was so dope. He's getting his own spin-off series on HBO Max that I'm gonna review. The way I do the Disney Plus MCU shows, I'm gonna review on this channel the DC shows on HBO Max that are related to the movies. So that's why I haven't done Titans or Doom Patrol. I'm not even caught up on Doom Patrol, but that's besides the point. I love this story. It was funny. Like comic book movies are expected to be in this era. The action's great. The performances are great. The humor's there. It's exciting, man. Sylvester Stallone as King Shark was money. The finale was great. I liked all these characters I wasn't familiar with getting shine. David Dastmalchian as Polka Dot Man, Scene Stealer. And some James Gunn regulars popped up in this. So if he does more DC, I'm down. I'm even more down for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm even more down for the Peacemaker show, because that's what's coming next. And that was John Cena's best performance ever, in my opinion. At number 5, I got A Quiet Place Part 2. World building in the most perfect way. The first movie was so contained, just that family just trying to survive, minimal dialogue. This one, a little more dialogue, expanding the scenery, expanding the area of which they're trying to avoid these monsters. The kids steal the show. Noah Jupe, Millicent Simmons, I hope I said her name right. I was trying to remember it off the top of my head. Emily Blunt is always great. Like, I think I said in my review for this, like, she gives an awards-worthy performance in everything she does. Cillian Murphy was great in this. He always elevates whatever material he's in. I don't know if a spinoff is coming next. I don't know if A Quiet Place 3 is coming next, but I'm definitely ready. At number 4, man, a movie that was probably like my fourth quarter of the year biggest surprise of how much I enjoyed it. And it didn't make a lot of people's lists on the podcast. And that's Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was on me and my brother Jason's list. Yeah, man, like a true to life, like Dan Aykroyd's been grinding for 30 years to make a Ghostbusters 3. And this is a true to life Ghostbusters 3. It felt like sequel. It felt like reboot. It showed enough love to the original movie, not necessarily Ghostbusters 2, but the 1984 original, that it was all perfect. Like in this movie, man, McKenna Grace was a scene stealer. She was, if you watch Young Sheldon, The Big Bang Theory, she was like girl Young Sheldon. It was perfect. It was hilarious. Like that dry wit that she doesn't really pick up on, like the normies type of humor, was funny. You know, the effects were good. I'm telling you, the love paid to the originals was good. I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did, man, and I hope they make more. I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. At number 3, I got The Mitchells vs. the Machines. One of 2 animated movies that made this list, man. This is the most creative movie that I've seen all year. It was on Netflix. Sony Animation sold it to Netflix, probably with the intentions of trying to dump it. But it, like, Phil Lord, Chris Miller behind the brain trust. The dude who voiced the little brother directed it. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Abby Jacobson voicing Katie Mitchell. She's a movie head. She wants to be a filmmaker. Yeah, dude, she's a movie geek, man. Like, all the effects and all the big, like, in-your-face animation is, like, from her imagination. And it turns into a robot movie because of her dad, voiced by Danny McBride. Dude, this movie was a fucking blast. At number 2, I got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. A new MCU hero that the masses, including myself, know nothing about. I'm not the biggest Awkwafina fan. She won me over. Simu Liu kills it. I instantly wanted more. I'm still, like, I thought I knew where those mid-credits, post-credit scenes were going. I didn't. It was funny. It was emotional. The fight scenes were great. Buddy on that bus that was from Spider-Man Homecoming, like, elevated the humor in that one fight scene. Yeah, man, the villain, like fixing, for the most part, fixing Iron Man 3. Like bravo, Destin Daniel Cretton, Kevin Feige. Like, unequivocally, one of the franchises that I'm anticipating more. They've announced a sequel. I cannot wait. Hoping they introduce Iron Fist and Kung Lao. I cannot wait to see where this is going. My number 1, my favorite movie of 2021. Like, what else could it be? I usually bash Sony, but shout out to Sony for having 3 movies in my top 4. Because Paramount got number 5. Obviously, Marvel and Disney got number 2. Marvel and Sony got number 1, man. Spider-Man No Way Home. It's still recently come out. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I wanted that mid-credit scene from Spider-Man Far From Home dealt with. It's dealt with. It's a black cloud. Like I said in my review, it's a dark, cloud hovering over Peter Parker this entire movie. There are surprises. There is a fucking butt ton of emotion. The action is great. There's 5 villains in this movie, but there's not truly a main antagonist until the third act. And the third act is mind blowing, man. Way cooler than I could have ever imagined. I'm still like coming across like fan posts. Hey, did you catch this Easter egg? Hey, did you see this? They paid homage to this. One of Tom Holland's best ever performances. Zendaya's great. Jacob Batalon is great. We don't need Jon Favreau in any more Spider-Man movies. Not that he was bad. He's useless from here on out. Doctor Strange not being the Tony Stark in Homecoming, not being the Nick Fury in Far From Home. He's there, and the back and forth, the dynamic between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in this movie is amazing. Spider-Man going with his heart, and he's in high school. Peter Parker is a teenager. He's making teenage decisions. For anybody shitting on this movie, like, I've heard a couple people that didn't like it, but I don't feel like those reasons are justified. You went to see the movie because there was hype surrounding it, not because you're invested in the story or the franchise. Yeah, like, I have so many thoughts and hopes for Spider-Man 4. Mid-credit scene was interesting. I've wrapped my mind around that. I'm not saying it's my favorite Spider-Man ever. And I'm not saying it's my favorite MCU movie ever. Like, I'm not on that hype train, but it's very good and it deserves every praise, every amount of praise, like I've said about other movies on this list, that it gets. What were some of your favorite movies in 2021, man? I know there's a million that I didn't list off. Like, right behind me, man. The Matrix Resurrections, Eternals, Last Night in Soho, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Godzilla vs. Kong, Coming to America, Raya and the Last Dragon. We got 2 Disney animated movies this year. And 1 Pixar. Yeah, like, Luca was good. I really liked Luca. Let me know, man. Give me your top 5. Give me your top 10. However you want to share it, man. Drop a comment. Let me know. Tomorrow, my most anticipated movies of 2022 is coming. My Blu-ray collection update is coming. Over the next couple weeks, I hope to watch and review the 355, The Tender Bar, Scream, Hotel Transylvania, Transformania. The Tragedy of Macbeth is a huge maybe. I want to watch it, but there's so much coming out the weekend of the 14th, it might get pushed. So like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Happy New Year and peace.